All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Ministry Revealed. It is August 7th, 2018. Welcome back. Hopefully, you guys had a good weekend. We had a long weekend up here in Canada. So today is back to the work day, back to video day as well. Today, we're going to cover some things, not so much in this. I had something I was going into here with John 7, but we're really going to start in John 8, and I'm going to show you a connection that proves we are the first bride. All right, there's a difference between the first and the second, right? That, you know, the story of Jacob and his wives and so forth. The word actually means this one, and we'll get into that today. So it's really exciting. But I want to start off today by showing you guys, we'll listen to this video. This guy doesn't have the video of it. He's just got the words. And it's quite hard to get Jonathan Cahn stuff unless you register with him. I don't know if you have to pay to get all of his video teachings or what. He only does things generally like little 2 or 3 or 4 minute clips that he has of his teachings. Excuse me, but this guy got it from somewhere. And maybe he's registered with them. And guys, I thought this was so exciting. I shared it with my wife when I heard it the other day. It's really exciting. I think Jonathan Cahn has heard Ministry Revealed videos. Is it possible that the word is getting out there, guys? You know, Stainless Sea sent me a video from End Time Productions, I think it is, the one that's End Time Vision. Oh, End Time Dreams and Visions. That's it, not Productions. End Time Dreams and Visions. The guy that sends out Bibles all over the world for his ministry, right? Not unlike our ministry here at Ministry Revealed, where we do USBs, right, for the teachings. But he is now realizing, he calls the last Trump, the time of Donald Trump from 2017 to 2024, because he's going to win this next election in 2020. All right, I've told you guys that before. Just take it to the bank. Anybody here during that time who's unfortunate to be living during that time, if the escape is this year, which it is in 2018, put your money on Trump if there's still betting systems at that time, and if you want to bet, because Trump is going to win. He is the one taking them into the last Trump, that the rapture is going to take place in the year 2024. All right, it's a done deal. But he goes in and talks about how you know, that's the time of the last Trump. And then there would be the final 7 years of the Great Tribulation, which would bring it to the year 2031. He's getting it, guys. The Lord is working on people more and more, and this understanding is starting to get up there. Now, of course, we know the Lord is always at work, right? But it's the understanding is slowly creeping in there. You know, does he understand that it's 14 and that it's 7 and 7? No. That the first seal is... By the way, you know, guys, Trump obviously isn't perfect. None of us are. But there might be something to this Trump in the first seal, which we spoke about a while back. You know, I flip-flop on who Trump could be so many times, but there was a prophecy by Byron Cyril on May 16th that said once that the white horse was already released and that he won't be made known until the peace deal. Interesting. And that the red horse rider was now here as well in hiding. Right? The drum beats of war are all in the background. We've talked about that here. And if the red horse rider is here as of January 31st, you know, it's who are these people exactly? I don't know, but we know that Trump is involved. All right? So it'll be so interesting, because there's a question I have as well that I don't know if I'm going to do a video on it. I got to figure out how I'm going to go through to be able to teach it with the scriptures. But who said that it was the Antichrist that's going to bring in the peace deal? Good question, isn't it? Knowing what we know now, knowing that Daniel 9 has nothing to do with the Antichrist who brings in the peace deal. How many times have we covered that, right? We're going to touch on this a little bit today with that video clip that I'm going to show you from Jonathan Cahn. right? It's not the Antichrist. He even talks about this part about being cut off. We're going to touch on this, guys. So we're going to start on this, and then we're going to go into what I started off saying, which is what the video is going to finish with, about showing that we are the first bride, okay? That we are the 10th, right? The 10th of the church. That's the bride who goes. And we'll get into that. But let me show you this with let's listen to this here with Jonathan Cahn. There's two parts at the 14-minute that he starts regarding the cutoff, and then we'll go to the 20-minute mark, because we're not going to go obviously listen to the whole thing, but he's going into Daniel 9, and it's not the first time, obviously, that Jonathan Cahn has spoken about Daniel 9, right? I did a video about him speaking about Daniel 9 several months ago. It was maybe over a year ago, when he was on a show talking about it, when we talked about him talking about it in relation to that last week, how he calls it the 7 years. And yes, there's a way that it could be looked at as 7 years, but we also know from Genesis 29 through 31 that Jacob has a 1-year covenant at the end. So we know that this is an end time understanding of it. But guess what Jonathan Cahn does this time, guys? I think he's watched Ministry Revealed videos, because I don't know anybody else who has the understanding except those who might be sharing it, and the word is getting out there, guys. Not just from what I'm doing, believe me, it's you guys out there. I know you guys are out there like dogs on bones, some of you, sharing this with everybody you can, right? Trying to get them to understand that it's 14 years away and it's begun, right? So listen to what he says here first of all, and then we'll cover this, and we'll come back to about the 20-minute mark, and we'll cover that. All right? Let's listen to this.
The same word is speaking about Messiah being cut off. The new covenant begins when Messiah is cut on the cross. Jerusalem will be restored so that Messiah will come to that Jerusalem, and Messiah did come to that Jerusalem. He will be killed. He will be cut off and have nothing. It says, then what? Next verse. Then the people of the ruler who is to come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. Then there will be a people who will come and destroy the city. What city? Jerusalem. What sanctuary? The temple. So the prophecy clearly says, if you knew no math, Messiah will come, he will be cut off and killed, and then the temple and Jerusalem will be destroyed. Even if a Jewish person has no idea of Jesus, he or she knows that Jerusalem, according to this, will be destroyed after the Messiah comes. Did this come true? Yes. What year? 70 AD. What does that mean?
First of all, I think I'm at the right spot, but did you hear that? Messiah must come and then get killed. When did that happen? 70 AD. Yeah, 40 years. Almost about 40 years after Jesus died. You get it? 40 years. That says 3.5. You see that? Because there's a deeper layer to the onion.
It means that Messiah not might have come, had to have come before the year 70 AD. And there's only one choice, there's only one candidate in the entire world, and he is Yeshua, Jesus, the Messiah. There's no runner-up. There's no second place in this. And he just happened to come, aside from he just happened to be born in Bethlehem, where the Messiah just happened to come at the exact time ordained before 70 AD, and he was cut off. So he dies, and then Jerusalem's destroyed. He even predicted it. He prophesied it. Let's go now here. Let's put it together, because I want you to see how exact this is, how amazing this is, and then it's going to take us into the end times. 77s. And then in that it says 7 sevens and 62 sevens, comes out to 483 years we saw. From the time of a decree to restore Jerusalem. So what decree? Well, there's two very famous ones. One is by Cyrus, the other by Artaxerxes.
Okay, I'm going to pause and go back. Let's listen from here.
The idea that many Jewish people are taught that Jesus could not be the Messiah of the Jewish people because he wasn't accepted. It's the opposite. If he was accepted, he couldn't be the Messiah. He could only be the Messiah if he was rejected and cut off, in this case, killed. Messiah was both cut off and killed. Even after his death, he was cut off from his people. For 2,000 years, he's been cut off by and large from the people of Israel, and the people of Israel cut off from him. But it all fulfills prophecy. Another thing you can only see in the Hebrew, it says in Jeremiah 31:31, you all know it.
There's
the time
the
is
part.
coming, says the Lord, when I will make a new covenant. Right? New covenant. First time mentioned, new covenant. But in the Hebrew, it says, it doesn't say I will make a new covenant. It says I will karat, I will cut a covenant. Same word used of Messiah will be cut off.
There you go. See that? Same word will be used of Messiah to be cut off. Do you get it? He's getting there, and there's more that he says. We'll touch on that in a second, that I think gives evidence to the fact that he's heard ministry revealed, but needs to spend more time in it. He says, this same word, Messiah being cut off, is the same one in Jeremiah. We're going to go into that. That Messiah had to be here, and then he was going to be cut off. You get it? Watch. Where are we? Jeremiah 31, verse 31. You can read it all, of course. Go to the trusted eSword. This program is eSword. It's an awesome program. This is where you get your understanding. How on earth would you come to understand that something in here means cut off? Right? The word make means cut off. It's the same term here from Daniel. This is what he's saying. It's the same word here from Daniel 9 when Jesus says he's going to be, look, cut off. It's the same one. 37:72. Can you imagine that? It's from the word made. I mean, make means cut off. Right? So behold, the days come, says the Lord, that I, the Lord, will cut off a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Not according to that covenant that I made with their fathers when I took them out of the land of Egypt, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days. Guys, do you get it? Jeremiah 31:31 is confirming exactly what is being spoken about and what we've been talking about in Daniel. Jonathan Cahn doesn't quite see it yet. It's still in that old school way of thinking. Right? And when we go to that 20-minute mark range, you'll see that he's still not getting it, but he understands that there could be something else that needs to be understood because of Messiah only having fulfilled 3.5 years in his first time in his ministry. Right? He's going to say from about the year 27, right? Because Jesus was born in 2 BC. So when you carry that forward, it's the year 27, and it'll be 27 something. Right? Where in the 27? It says he began to be, in John, it says he began to be about 30. So he was almost 30. And what year was that? Sometime in the year, late into the year 27. He was almost 30, which would bring us to 31. You add 3.5 years already being well into 27, almost to the end of 27 from his birth. And then you add 3.5 years, it brings you into the year 31. That's what we've been talking about. That's why when he returns to Mount of Olives, it will be in the year 2031. And I told you guys before, and I've had people ask, oh, come on, where does Jesus break a covenant? Right? And I showed it in Zechariah where it says he's going to cut it off. Right? He's the one that's going to cut the covenant. He's telling us right here. I didn't know this before in Jeremiah. Jeremiah 31:31. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will... Look at this. Could you imagine, guys? How the translation, they use the word make for the word cut off. This is crazy. They use the word make? You want to talk about a bad translation? Oh my goodness. Doesn't get any worse than that. I will make. You know how many, this throws off so many people? Could you imagine not having a program like eSword to go in and be able to see that the word means cut off and not make a new covenant, but to cut it off? He's going to cut the covenant that he made with them. And it wasn't this covenant that he made with the fathers, but it was the covenant, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days. After what days? The seals. The time of the Gentiles will be over. That's what this is talking about. Oh, that famous, the #1 song in all of Christian history with Mercy Me is on. I love that. I still love it. Always brings the tears, right? It's playing in the background. It's my music in the garage. Where are we? See, here we are. And after 62 weeks, Messiah shall be cut off, which means what? Messiah was here. Messiah had to have returned to cut off. You see what I'm saying? There's going to be a decree that's going to go out. He's going to confirm a covenant. And then he's going to cut himself off midway through because of the people of the prince that shall come. And then when he comes back, he's going to confirm this covenant that he had made for one more year, which is what we see. Everybody needs to go into, read the story from Genesis 29 through 31, and you'll understand the entire, it's the final countdown of the 21 years of life as we know it on earth. Well, life as we know it, it's drastically about to change. But the final 21 years is Jacob and his wives, and then working another 7, but he does 6, and then he makes a covenant with Laban in that final year. That is this covenant right here. Right? So here he is talking, Jonathan Cahn is telling us about this cutoff, and that it's the cutoff that Jeremiah is talking about. Well, Jeremiah is saying the same thing. That it's Messiah. It says, I will cut off the covenant. What covenant? The one that he made. After those days. After what days? The days of the seals. When he returns to Mount Zion. He's the one making the new covenant. Right? Let's keep listening. Oh.
So it's amazing because the new covenant.
All right. So we've already covered that part. Now let's go to 20-minute mark. Let's have a listen from here.
Sacrifice and offering in the middle of the 7. Okay, math experts. 7 divided by 2. 3.5. Does that sound familiar, prophecy people? 3.5 years is right there. 3.5. And it all begins here in Daniel. Not only the missing 7, but the 3.5 year period that's going to become so crucial to end time prophecy. Now, there are some interesting things, ideas surrounding
Here we go.
this. How long is it believed that Messiah ministered on earth? 3.5 years. You've heard that. Now, there are those who believe that the first 3.5 years are fulfilled then, and that they go that he will confirm a covenant for many for 1/7 as being about the Messiah, confirming the covenant, the new covenant, and in the middle of the 7, or the middle after the end of the 3.5 years of ministry, he will put an end to sacrifice and offering because he made a new covenant. So in a sense that is the final sacrifice. It's interesting.
It's interesting, guys. When I showed you a video of Jonathan Cahn, when we spoke about it relating to Daniel 9 and that final week understanding, right, it does have more than one fulfillment. If you go on to listen to that video, you'll see that he talks about it. Could it be that it's another layer? I always say like an onion, right? Is it maybe another layer? It is another layer. That's what I'm telling you. It is Jesus confirming this covenant for 1 year, and in the middle of it, he's going to cut it off. He's going to cut himself off, right? With what? We just went through it in Jeremiah 1. Yet he doesn't see it. Jeremiah 1 says that the Lord, I will make, it says, horrible translation, I will cut off the new covenant that I made with them. Guys, it's clear as day. Jeremiah tells us the exact same thing. We just didn't understand the word. All we had to do was click on the word make. And we understand it's this word here for cut off. Specifically to covenant. You see that? And when he returns at the seventh trumpet, he's going to confirm that covenant that he had made earlier when he returns after these 2.5 years when Satan is doing his thing. And then for the overspreading of the abomination that Satan and his guys did, he is going to destroy it. Why would Satan destroy what he's trying to destroy? What he's trying to do? He's the one causing the abominations. Jesus is returning in the seventh trumpet to wipe it out. You get it? And then look at how it ends. Shall be poured out upon the desolate. He's going to pour out the bowls from that point. That's what's being said. But Jonathan Cahn doesn't get it. But did you hear what he said? There's people out there, he's talking about us guys, that realize that there is something more being said, a deeper understanding into these scriptures, just like Daniel said when he didn't understand it all, and the angel told him, seal it up till the time of the end, and then it'll be revealed. All right, that is what's happening on this channel. In fact, I'm going to pause it. Give me a second. All right, I found this video. I wanted to bring this up. I hadn't talked about this for a number of months. This is what's happening. And listen to this. Many of you guys know Dr. Lance Wall now, right? A pastor, or he used to be a pastor and he gave it up. But he does biblical teaching. He travels the world. He is connected in with Trump and Trump's people on the minister's side, and those that are in his ear, right? The pastors and so forth. And this guy's connected to all those guys. Listen from one of the horse's mouths himself.
Bible study, explorations, and prophetic insights that come from the Word of God. You know, in times of turbulence, it's great to know that the arc of the Bible from Genesis to Revelation covers all the vicissitudes and chaos that takes place in the earth and in the nations. In fact, the Bible tells us that the last days are a time of unique activity and that the books are going to be divinely open in the last days, according to Daniel. Books that have been sealed up are going to be open, and great revival and strength is going to come to the people of God as anointed teaching begins to crack the code of God's real end-time purposes. And what that tells you is that a lot of teaching that you and I have been subjected to growing up was actually speculative in nature.
Hear that? I remember when I first heard this video. I've watched a number from Lance. I like these teachings that he does here. Guys, did you hear that? There's a lot of new people on this channel since I showed this video before. That a lot of these end time scriptures that we've been subjected to over the years, over the generations, in relation to end time understanding, have been speculative in nature. Because one day the books will start to open and the truth of the understanding will begin to be revealed. That is what he just said. Being one of them, saying we've all kind of been guessing at the understanding. But it will come to make sense. The books will begin to start to open. And I've sent him a DVD, by the way. I mean a USB. So I've sent him the USB, not when he had done this. This was a long time ago. Or 7-8 months ago. But it was, I sent him one maybe about a month and a half ago, something like that. So, you know, hopefully he's starting to see it. Hopefully these guys listen, right? That's the one thing. We're sending these USBs out everywhere. You guys have been so awesome in helping us, in continuing to support us. The ministry needs the continued support just to keep going and to be able to get these USBs out. These teachings revealing some of these understandings, right? And that's what we're talking about here today, is these revelations coming forward that are just undeniable confirmations, one after the other, fitting together like perfect puzzle pieces. All right, so I wanted to share those two with you. One that just shows, like I said, I'm not going to keep beating it, but when I spoke about Jonathan Cahn in the past about this, he spoke nothing about this potentially relating to Jesus coming and fulfilling his last 3.5 years. That's the first time in all of his teachings ever on Daniel 9 that he's suddenly been talking about it. Why? Because the word is getting out, warriors. We're getting this word out, and it's making its way out there. All right? So let's keep it going. Let's keep go to the About Us or go to the description box in this video, and you'll see the link to the PayPal, and help us so we can just get more and more and more of these USBs out as well. All right? So, with that, let's get going into this. I was looking at doing something here a little bit on John 7. See, the Jewish Feast of Tabernacles was at hand. Jesus didn't go because he said his time wasn't yet. And then what does he do? About the midst of the feast, Jesus went up into the temple. All right, maybe we will touch on it briefly because this is what we're going to be talking about today. As if we didn't get started in anything, right? Now, the Jewish Feast of Tabernacles was at hand. Jesus said his time was not yet, so he didn't really want to go up yet. But, when his brethren were gone up, then went he also up into the feast. Not openly, but as it were, in secret. In secret. What year is John 7 relating to? Remember, here's your last 21 years we've talked about. We talked about this a number of times. This is called Bible Countdown Calendar by Steve Wyertz. The Lord led him in this. And I don't look at all these additional things that were added. Just look at the continuation. This is based off of the Psalms. How, remember, many of you have heard for many, many, many years now that the Psalms relate to a year. Psalms 2000 was to the year 2000. Psalms 19, which is the book 19, and go to chapter 48, is 1948. And it's Israel coming back into the land. You go to Psalms, book 19, and you go to chapter 67. And you can do that all the way through. And we've done that on many teachings here, that the Psalms relate to years, just like Psalms 117 and 118. Look, even the count that was continued relates exactly, right? Psalms 118. Psalms is the 19th book, plus 100 is the 2000th, and 18. 2018, where we're at right now. And you can go into these books and get huge insight into the times we're living in and what is about to happen. Well, John 7 is relating to 2017. And something went out in secret, unknowingly. Well, guys, it goes back to this Byron Cyril prophecy from May 16th. And it goes back to the video I did that if January 31st of 2017, the red horse rider is now here, right? Let's look at Zechariah 1. Zechariah 1, guys, is 2018. Everything's been happening in order. All right? Red horse rider, the blood red moon, the super blood red moon on the Feast of Trees, Tu B'Shavat. The red horse rider is now here. Then it goes in and it talks about the 70 years. How long will you not have mercy on your land, on Judah, on Jerusalem, these past 70 years, the land of Israel? Right? May 14th, boom, 70 years. And then what does Trump do within that time frame? He declares Jerusalem the capital of Israel. You see that all of these things happening perfectly in line. The super blood red blue moons, and then we had it again in March for the blue moon. That is on our Gregorian calendar because of 31 days. However, that only happens once every 19 years. 19 years from 1948 to 1967, they get Jerusalem back. And what happens on our Gregorian blue moon calendar count when there's 2 in a year, only happens once every 19 years. Boom, Trump declares Jerusalem the capital of Israel again in the 19 year on the count on our calendar. You see how all this is lining up, guys? And the 70th year just so happened was 2018. Right here, this is the last 14 years of life that we know it. Well, it's about to change. There's the escape of the bride is going to take place, which, again, what we're going to talk about today, Zechariah 14 and Hosea also has 14 chapters. The only two books in the Old Testament that do. Why? Because Hosea is speaking to the Gentile bride, the first bride, right? The Gentiles, and from their point of view, and or you can say even Israel, you could say like the lost tribes, right? The church as a whole. And then Zechariah is speaking from the point of view of Judah, but it starts off by giving us the season so that we understand where we're at. Jesus, the Lord, is right here at this point now, very jealous and very sore displeased. He's wroth, right? At the heathen that are at ease. This is when they bring out their peace and safety. And then what happens? He was a little displeased, but then he became very displeased, and it forwarded the affliction. Guys, that peace and safety, that declaration, that covenant that's about to come out of peace and safety is going to be what brings destruction to Jerusalem in 2018. It doesn't make Trump the Antichrist, right? People get that understanding because of the misunderstood understanding, of Daniel 9. That's where it comes from. And I don't know if I'm going to do a whole study on that and really go into it all, but that's where it comes from. It doesn't mean that he's the Antichrist. That's not what it is. It's what this person's going to do when they come to the stage, this red horse rider. All right? So, remembering now, we're going to talk about Hosea, and here we touch a little bit into Zechariah. That's giving us the time frame of the 70th year, which we're now in. All right? And then we're going to cover Hosea, which is what we're going to get into when we keep going here. All right? So, we see that 2017. Well, who showed up 2017? Look, 2017, John 7, Psalms 117, and it's also relation. You can take 100-year backwards in the count, and it'll take you to Psalm 17, Psalms 18, Psalms 19. They're another viewpoint of the exact same 14 years. All right, the final 14 years. So, the white horse rider has already arrived. Look, 2017, John 7, Psalms 117, as well as Psalms 17, 7, 7, 7. And what year was it? 5, 7, 7, 7. I'm just going to throw this out there. Trump, his first day in office, he was 70 years old, 7 months and 7 days. You know, this stuff can't be just tossed out, guys. Did he get indwelt with this spirit of the first horse rider? Guys, let's put a couple things out there. Like, let's look at, let's have a look here with the white horse rider, right? Look at the white horse rider. We covered this, I think, a little bit in the last video. The white horse rider goes out in what? Conquering, or is it? Conquering and to conquer. All right, it's the same word twice. Conquering and to conquer, which means to conquer, overcome, prevail, get victory. Well, when we go to the other form of the count, taking James as the 20th book of the New Testament and counting the chapters from there and doing the same kind of count that we did from Psalms that brought us all this other understanding, we go to the 20th book, count to the 17th, which would take you to 2017 right here. And what do we see? The victory that overcomes the world, even our faith. This word victory is the word victory. See this? The root word of this word from conquering and to conquer, from the first seal, the white horse rider, and it goes into the chapter and verse and another count, right? The count from the New Testament count. James is the 20th book. Count the chapters from there. 1 John 5 is the 17th. So 20, 17. And it just so happens that the root word for conquering and to conquer, for the word victory, only shows up once? And it's in the relation to the year 2017, and it only shows up once? See that? Maybe there's something with Trump that hasn't been revealed yet, that we don't fully understand who he is. But you go read that Byron Cyril for May 16th. The Red Horse Rider's already here. So if the Red Horse Rider's already here, the White Horse Rider's already here. Right? Now, neither has been revealed. Okay? Neither has been revealed. That's key. They may have been opened or they're here, but it doesn't mean the seal is open. I don't necessarily believe the seal is open, but that those people they're here. All right? Has the Spirit been revealed in them? Possibly, very likely. And the one who has victory, the white seal, was here as of 2017. The Red Horse Rider, I believe, was January 31st, 2018. But in Byron Cyril's May 16th, it says that the White Horse Rider, he won't be understood or revealed until the peace covenant. See that? We're waiting on that peace agreement, guys. That's what we're waiting for. All right? So this going up into the temple, excuse me, that we were talking about here, in John 7, we got into this because John 7 is the year 2017, and somebody could have received that indwelling spirit here in 2017. Maybe the one we were just talking about, all right? But what happens here? Now about the midst of the feast, this is the Feast of Tabernacles that we've been talking about lately, Jesus went up into the temple and taught. Where do we see that? We see that all the time. Let's go, right? Where do we see that? This is where we're getting into it now. John 8, which is for 2018. Jesus went unto the Mount of Olives, and early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and sat down, and he sat down and taught them. And listen to what's next. We've talked about this a number of times, right? Where do we talk about this? We've spoken about this so many times in Luke 21. Luke 21, Luke's discourse. Boy, this is something I wish people would understand. The study of the three discourses of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. If they would just grasp the understanding of these three teachings in these three separate books, they would understand who the bride is, who the remaining of the church is for the harvest, for the main harvest. They would understand who Matthew is speaking to Judah. It is all revealed in this discourse. But look at what Matthew does. We've covered this a number of times. Watch this. Matthew says right here, in Mark's discourse and in Matthew's discourse, neither of them jump in with their own words. It is red letter words from start to finish. All right? Only in Luke does Luke let us know that then said he unto them. Why does he say unto them? Because it's as if Luke has listened in to Mark's group and Matthew's group being told something from Jesus. So that's why he jumps in. It says, this isn't for you, the bride. Your stuff is going to end right here. But if you're not found accounted worthy, then you're going to take part in some of this stuff. He tells us as if he's overheard. Matthew and Mark speaking, all right? And then look, you're going to see it again. He's going to jump in again right here, see? And then he spoke to them a parable. All right? Because he's letting us know it's to other people. And then watch what he does here, right at the end. When he says, watch ye therefore and pray always that you may be found accounted worthy to escape all these things I've just told you about. You can escape them. And when you do, you can come and stand before the Son of Man. This is to the bride. All right? Now look at this. And in the daytime he was teaching in the temple, and at night he went out and abode in the mount that is called the Mount of Olives. And all the people came early in the morning to him in the temple for to hear him. It's exactly 2018, John 8, the same thing. You want to see how it gets even better? Look at what's next. I hadn't gone into this before. Of course, I've read it before, but it never jumped out like it did yesterday. And the scribes and the Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. A woman could be a wife, see, wife, woman. Taken, to take eagerly, to seize, ring a bell, like a rapture. In adultery. Whoa, wait a second. Why would he have a woman taken as a wife who is in adultery? Well, we know where that comes from, don't we? We've got this first part covered. We know this is talking to Luke's group, the bride. He lets us know right at the end, and here it is in 2018, John 8. This right here, guys, these verses right here are Hosea 1. John 8 is Hosea 1, the first part. Okay, watch this. Let's go to Matthew first to find out who this woman in adultery is. We covered this in a couple videos ago with the story of the two sons, right? The parable of the two sons. I believe this also can say it's talking like the harvest. You know, the Jews think it's the first harvest with the wheat, and it's not. It's the new harvest, and they're saying it's the old one. You know, there's a whole mix-up. It has to do with the Pentecost count. It is 49 days to the end of the 7 weeks. Then the day after, then you count 50 days, and that is where we get to this year, August 13th, on a second Adar year count. Okay? So now let's watch. Let's see what it says. You know, one son is this way, one son does it that way, and they say unto Jesus, the first one. Jesus says unto them, verily I say unto you, essentially what he's saying is the second one is going to go first. And you guys are going to be second. All right? And he said unto them, verily I say unto you, that the publicans and the harlots go to the kingdom before you. For John came unto you in the way of righteousness, and you believed him not. But the publicans and the harlots believed him. And they went and repented. You guys did not. What's a harlot? Idolater, harlot, whore. See? Whore, prostitute. The whore, the harlot, the idolater goes first. Goes first. John 8, they bring to him a woman taken like a rapture, a wife taken like a rapture in adultery, in whoredom. 32. See, that's why this program, eSword, is so important. See, in adultery, in whoredom, in idolatry. It's all the same thing. Watch. Now let's see. Okay, let's go to Hosea 1. Remember, we were talking about how Zechariah is 2018, and it gives us the when of things about to begin, right? We just covered that. Well, Hosea 1, like I've talked about many times as well, I talk about Hosea a little bit less because Zechariah 1 gives us the season to be watching to let us know what year this is going to happen in, which is right now, 2018. Hold on tight. We may be a week or so away. All right? And guys, oh, you know what? I want to throw this out there. I told you guys about, I've had 2 dreams that I believe are from the Lord. One was these meteors, big or small, coming down. I did a video on it. And, you know, my timing of understanding, of course, was off because I thought it was later or earlier this year. But I know what I saw, and people were freaking out and running. And I know that one was from the Lord because of circumstances around it. And from there, I've had one more, and it was these flames of fire. They kind of look like doves, you can say, but angels are people. It was like the wings were down close to their sides, but you can see them flickering like flames, and like it would be like a long gown, if you will, and it was flickering. But it wasn't, there was no description of face. You just see like a round, and these flames were coming down to the earth, and they were carrying people away. And I told you, the reason I'm bringing this up now is, we saw somebody had referred to me in Hebrews, maybe Hebrews 11, if I remember correctly, that the Lord has ministering flames of fire. I hadn't read that scripture until somebody had sent it to me after I spoke about that dream, and I was like, whoa, it was awesome. So, but the reason I bring it up is because of what I'm going to this weekend. On the 11th, so this coming Saturday, there's like family in-law type thing, wedding. And in my dream, I don't know that it was a wedding or if it was a banquet, but I know it was a group of people. There was a big open type of setting. And while I was standing, I could see, it was like the roof was clear, I said. I could see through the roof, so maybe there wasn't a roof, right? And I could see these ministering angels coming in, and I started screaming, Jesus, Jesus. Well, but I knew it was there was a large group of people there. And then I could see through, like when I looked up, I felt like maybe I was looking through, I could see through the ceiling, or there was windows or something, and the whole roof was windows. Well, guess what? Where this started, it freaked me out when I realized where this was, guys. Not only realized where it was, but when my wife told me it was going to be on the roof. I freaked out. I'm not going to show you where it is, but I went and I did some research to see where it was, downtown Calgary. And guys, I was a little bit freaked out because it's this Saturday. The wedding is on the rooftop of this hotel, not on the high up rooftop, but they've got this second story rooftop where they have weddings and events, and it's outside on this roof with a gathering of people. So, and it's August 11th. Now I'm saying the 13th, right? Give or take around there. That's something is going to happen. Are we going on that day? I don't know, but something. And this wedding is on the 11th, pretty darn close, and we're going to be all nicely dressed on a rooftop of a hotel. So I just want to throw that out there, guys, to just let's be on our toes, right? Always watching and praying that we've found accounted worthy to escape all these things and to stand before our Lord and Savior, the Son of Man, all right? So let's now go look at this, what we were talking about from John 8. Let's see what John 8, right? So we covered what John 8 says, Mount of Olives, and come early in the morning, and then a woman is brought into him, taken in adultery. Let's go look at Hosea and watch this. Remember how I started the video saying that it's going to tie in? If there's a connection to the first wife, right? If we're this first one, right, works 7 years and then gets the first one, right? But we know it's not just 7 years. We know that from Luke's Mount Transfiguration, which says about an 8th day, whereas Matthew's and Mark's both say after 6, because it's after 6 of seals and then after 6 of trumpets. That's theirs. Whereas Luke's is about an 8th day, meaning it has already begun. It began in 2017 with the white horse rider. The red horse is here, but has not been revealed yet and will not be revealed until the bride is gone. The red horse rider will not be revealed until the bride is gone. However, I believe that the white horse rider will be revealed to us with that peace and safety deal. All right, that 1 Thessalonians 5:3. That is for the bride. Now watch this connection, guys. Hosea is also 2018. We've covered this before. From the perspective of the whore, from the perspective of the Gentiles, The tax collectors, our favorite people in the world, right? Prostitutes and tax collectors. Don't we love those as Christians? Guys, we are them, all right? That's the reference. But watch this. 2018, from the viewpoint of the Gentiles, watch this. The beginning of the word of the Lord by Hosea. The Lord said to Hosea, who's Hosea? The deliverer, Yeshua. See that? From Yeshua. Okay? Go take unto thee a wife of whoredom. Didn't we just see that? John 8 also in reference to 2018. I don't make these things line up. They're revealed to people and everything is in order. It fits like a puzzle. But there's no way, without understanding 14 years, the true tribulation time frame from beginning to end, it is 21 years. But remember, Jacob works 7 joyful, easy years for his first bride. And when he gets his first bride, he was expecting one, but he ended up getting Leah, remember? But he said they were so easy, they flew by. Those are the first 7 years that aren't accounted in the tribulation years. Because the second 7 that he works for Rachel, he just says, he works them. Of course, he's happy to get her, but he's not as excited as he was because now he's got to put in another 7 years. All right? But he does 7 years and he gets who? Leah. All right? And who is the first group to go? Matthew 21. The whores, right? The adulterers, the tax collectors, the Gentiles get to go first. Okay? So what does he do? The Lord tells him, go get your wife. And he goes and gets his wife. And look at who she is, guys. Check this out. That's why this program, eSword, is so vital, guys. So vital. We just saw that in the word made. We saw that in the word made, Jeremiah 31:31. The word made means to cut off. It's the exact reference to Daniel. I love that one. Well, you're going to love this one too. So he went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim. Right? Diblaim. There we go. And look at this. 2 cakes. Diblaim means 2 cakes. Oh, this isn't it. This is just part of it, guys. Diblaim means 2 cakes. Well, wait a second. Where do we get 2 cakes? Hello? Pay attention. Leviticus 23. Remember, you're going to complete the 7 sevens. Then you're going to number 50 days, and you're going to offer a new meat offering. This is a new meat, wine, whatever you want to say. Right? Well, it'll be meat, wine is for the other guys. And look at this. You shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves and 2 tenth deals. They shall be of fine flour, and what? They will be baked with leaven. Who is the leaven? We are. The sin is the leaven. The Gentiles have the leaven. They are the first fruits unto the Lord. And you shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish and so forth. So with the bread. Do you know that this, if you typed in a search for 2 wave loaves, it only shows up once in the entire Bible? And it's right here. These are the 2 cakes baked with leaven. They are the first fruits unto the Lord. Do you get it? 2 tenth deals. 10%. They are Jew and Gentile within it, right? There are some Jews that have come in. We know that in part, right? But now watch this. Let's go back to Hosea. Oh, we're not done, right? Hosea, watch this. Watch this. So Diblaim, right? The daughter of Diblaim, 2 cakes? Look at this word that it comes from. Ready for this one? This word comes from here, from the unused root akin to Hebrew word 2082. So let's see the word 2082, to enclose, that is to reside and dwell with. What are we about to do when our bridegroom takes the bride? We are going to dwell and reside with the bridegroom, correct? This only shows up, instead of digging all the way down through here, look, you can read it right here. This shows up only one time in the Hebrew text. You ready? You want confirmation that Ministry Revealed knows what he's talking about? Not because of me, but because of the Spirit leading us, guys. You ready? Genesis 30, verse 20. Let's have a look at where this word shows up one time in relation to the daughter of Diblaim. All right? Watch this. You guys already know where this is going. Because what story do we have in Genesis 29 that we've spoken about? Oh, Jacob, 7 years for he thought was Rachel, but he ended up getting Leah, who he wasn't excited about, but he said, all right, right? He ended up getting Leah first, and then ends up having to work in another 7 years, a week, which is the 7 years, and then he gets Rachel, and then he does what? Yet another 7 years, 21 years. Well, now we're going to go into chapter 30. All right? This is the story about them and things that go on along the way. But watch this. Genesis 30, verse 20. And Leah said, God has endued me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me. One time in the Hebrew text, it is Leah dwelling with her husband. Isn't that awesome? Guys, this isn't, it's craziness. I don't know this stuff. I am led by the Spirit. See, goosebumps start going off like crazy. I get it all the time. I'll feel it through from the tip of my wrists, and I could feel it, especially when I'm wearing shorts, and it goes right down my shins, and I just get goosebumps everywhere, and hair stands up all over the place. From what? From the daughter of the woman, from the bride of whoredom, the one who is first. Do you see that connection? It's crazy. How can we put this stuff together like this? We can't unless we're led by the Spirit, guys. God is good. This is just... Sometimes I just feel like exploding. I gotta go for a walk. It's boiling hot out here in Calgary today, but not as hot as like a Phoenix, but hot for Calgary, all right? 30 degrees or something like that. But man, I just gotta go chill and spend some time with the Lord in thought. I'm gonna go get an Americano. Caramel macchiato. Right? And I'm just gonna dwell on this stuff with the Lord and just ponder it. Guys, this is unbelievable. Leah finally getting to dwell with her husband. Come on. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right? I'm going to show you something else here real quick too. I'm going to show you something here in Leviticus 2. Just to give you guys a little taste, I'm working on this video next. It just came about this morning because when I was telling you about End Time Dreams and Visions channel, he starts going into, is it him? I think it was him. Or somebody else starts, it was somebody who had commented within his video about 2 Thessalonians. And I'm like, well, the guy's, he's missing the understanding of the timing. But watch this. You want to see an understanding of timing? Remember who's coming first? Remember who's coming first, guys? Right? Remember who's coming? When the Lord returns to Mount Zion to dwell in the midst of the holy mountain, and they're going to be rebuilding the temple, right? That is at trumpets. Watch this. This will lead into a whole new thing, but we're not going to go into it today. I just want to share this with you. Watch this. Let's just go real quick. Just a couple minutes here. We'll start in verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And we can go into this too, because by the way, this term son of perdition shows up twice. And where do you think it shows up? But John 17, which is what year? 2027, right? And it's talking about shall not be revealed until he is here, right? He's going to show up. This is Satan showing up. But we'll save that for something else. Who exalt himself above all that is called God and worship. Remember, does the Antichrist call himself God? No. The Antichrist is the one who has blasphemy against God. Right? He has, here it is, blasphemes God. Right? What a lot of people forget, just like if you were to watch that Jonathan Cahn video, people forget that there are three players. They always say Antichrist, 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 Antichrist. You know, why do they always say Antichrist? Because they don't, if you don't know the 14 years, if you haven't comprehended and understood the 14 years, that it's about 7 and 7, right? The 7th year of rest and the 7th year of rest, 6, 6, 1, 1, right? If you don't understand that, then how could you possibly understand in 7 years how the Antichrist is supposed to come, and then Satan is going to come, and then in there is the false prophet with them, and it doesn't make sense. You cannot correlate the timing if you don't understand 14 years, which is revealed in Psalms 90 verse 10. All right? It's impossible. It's Deuteronomy. This is something that a lot of people don't get. It's Deuteronomy 32 verse 30. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight? Satan chasing the thousands, the representative of the house of Judah, right? They're the thousands of thousands. Two, Antichrist and false prophet put 10,000 to flight. 10,000 is the representation of the other brother who will be many nations, right? The Israel, the people, and Judah, the people. The church and Judah. Satan is going to chase them at 10.5 year mark when he's kicked out of heaven. And the Antichrist and the false prophet are going to put flight, and they're the ones going after the Christians. You get it? That's what's being spoken about here. And then I can do a whole teaching on this. I've done it a long time ago. That's what that is. Okay? Well, it's the same thing with this. All right? So many people don't get it because of their understanding of only 7 years. So that, see, and here we know. So that he, sitting as God, sits in the temple of God. Well, where does somebody sit in the temple of God? Not in Mark's. In Mark's Olivet Discourse, what do you see? You see standing where it ought not. When we go to Matthew's discourse, because they're two separate abomination of desolations. They're two separate desolations that are going to happen. All right? What do we see in Matthew? Standing in the holy place. Why? Because during trumpets, the first 3.5 years, it's going to be rebuilt. And when Satan comes, he is going to stand in the holy place. That is when they need to get out of Dodge. They need to get out of Jerusalem for this one. All right? For Judah, those guys that are left there. This one is after about the 10.5 year mark. So the escape of the bride has already happened. The rapture has already happened. All right? This is for Judah. All right? So this is standing in the holy place. When we're down here, it doesn't say standing where it ought not or sitting where he shouldn't be. No, it's saying standing or sitting in the temple of God. Okay? And then listen to what it says. Check this out. Okay? The day of Christ, right? Won't happen till the son of perdition be revealed, and he sits there showing that he is God. Listen to this. Remember you not that when I was with you, I told you these things? What do we know? That Jesus is here at the beginning of trumpets. The whole world isn't going to see him, just those who are allowed to go and see him. The 144,000 that were sealed, they're going to bring people to him that have come to know him and believe him. They're going to be brought to Mount Zion, to the top of Mount Zion with him. Right? When the rapture group is brought to him, they're going to be set off in a separate area. Remember when I was yet with you, I told you these things. This is literally Jesus saying, when I was with you. But remember, Daniel 9, he cuts himself off like we were talking about earlier. When he cuts himself off, then the son of perdition will be revealed, and he's going to sit in the temple of God, claiming to be God. And then Jesus says, see, remember I told you these things while I was yet with you? And now you know what withholds him, that he might be revealed in his time? Who is the one that withholds him? Jesus, because he's here. It's, guys, all of this stuff, when you understand who these books are speaking to, when you understand that the tribulation, that the timeline is 14 years, when you understand that the overall timeline is 21 years, and that the first 7 years, that's the easy stuff, right? Because he's working for his first bride, boom, everything was easy, it's awesome, no troubles, no issues. You see that? But the last 14 is when the tribulation is about to begin. Seals first, trumpets second, bowls will be the end of it. Guys, it is all revealed here. Isn't that incredible? I shouldn't say all revealed here, but you know what I mean. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Right? The books are opening. Lance Wallnau knew what he was talking about. So few understand it. And when it's in front of them and presented to them, they think it's a lie and that people don't know what they're talking about. One more person with another revelation of, oh, it means this or it means this. No, I am telling you, the books are opening just like Lance Wallnau said they would. And when we show it to these people, some will get it, but many don't. Even if it's out of their own mouth when they said it's going to happen, and when you present it to them with Scripture, backed by Scripture, with definition, Hebrew, Greek, from Genesis to Revelation, they look at you with deer in the headlights saying, oh, it's just another one. No, it is the understanding. Do we have all the parts of it? No, of course not. But it is undeniable what is happening here at this channel. And we need to continue, as you guys are doing, keep sharing and sharing. Spread these videos with others. Let's get this out there to these people. And let's pray that they're watching these USBs that are sending out. And we need your continued support to keep sending out these videos, guys. We're putting out these USBs, and here's the thing. Whether they see it now, and maybe they're part of the escape group, God bless them. I pray that they are. And if they don't see them, these USBs are going to be left for people that maybe they're going to see it on their desk and it's going to say, Tribulation 14-year understanding. We've got that on all these USBs. And somebody might just grab it and plug it in and say, what the heck is this? And realize what has happened. That is the purpose of the mission of Operation 14 Years. Yes, to wake some up along the way, but really for those who were left. All right? Guys, God is good. This is so amazing. I love it. Guys, send me your comments, share, subscribe, get others, tell them about it, and go to the description box, see where that link is. We've got an address there. You can send us something if you want. And don't forget, we need your prayers always as well. We love your prayers first and foremost, and we're praying for you guys as well. We love you. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.